Good morning and thank you for staying with us. It is 10 a.m. Of course, the green letters, they are telling us exactly what we can expect. Ladies, don't bother doing your hair. Just pack the hairspray. I'm Belinda Post. It's a high-speed chase to catch a suspected drug trafficker. Crews certainly were there in full force. That fire is out, but we also know one firefighter was flown to be treated. Keep food safe by leaving the refrigerator and freezer doors closed as quickly as possible. Now, this comes after county commissioners did go ahead and waive toll fees on the Sanibel Causeway. That was all an attempt to revive businesses on the island. That's where we find Wink News reporter Tiffany Rizzo, who is talking to neighbors. A brand new forecast cone has just dropped for now Tropical Storm Nicole. So over on East Riverside Drive is where surveyors found a dead giant African land snail. What to wear, but I guess this may be something that we can bring into the mix. I'm Belinda Post. Yeah, you can see everything going on in the water, and he was there for a few hours.
Oh my goodness.
Breaking now at noon, the Cape Coral Police Department is holding a press conference about Barry Smallback, a man who's been missing now for more than 2 weeks. We are told it's probably going to start around 12:05. We will have those comments and find out exactly what they have to say. David Hogg, a gun control activist and a survivor of the 2018 Parkland school shooting, confronted politicians during a House hearing regarding the ban of assault weapons. Let's talk about a mood killer. The herd of 70 cattle forced part of the Florida Turnpike to shut down yesterday, that for almost 5 hours. And Rachel, the crazy thing, this was in a gated community, but luckily there are programs seasonal residents can use to keep tabs on their home. Now, one of them is right here. Yes, ladies, throw it up in a ball cap ponytail. That's how we're gonna have to do it. Meteorologist Nash Rhodes, he has a little bit more on what we can expect as you head out the door today. John Rauschenberg's daughter, Emily, and her family, they were stuck there since the war between Hamas and Israel started. Here she is with her family at the Rafah border Wednesday. Cameras happened to catch her and the hundreds of people hoping to get out of Gaza. Now, it hasn't happened just yet, but the family has received national attention. And have they shared any of those tough moments? Because clearly this journey has been very difficult. Now, one thing that I love about our community, you always step up. A Good Samaritan is ready to help Toys for Tots in DeSoto County after a real-life Grinch took more than $25,000 in toys. We all know feelings of frustration when our kids don't listen, but this mom's behavior, it is unacceptable. She threw and kicked her 3-year-old. A neighbor's Ring camera in Sunny Isles Beach caught this horrific abuse. Before I show it to you, this is a warning. It's upsetting. You see her arms up, calling him to go down the hall, then she pushes him. She then grabs him with both hands and throws him to the floor. After that, while the little boy's on the floor, she kicks him over and over. The boy tries to get up and she pushes him back down to the floor.
Ma'am, right now the court is finding probable cause.
Storozuk bonded out but faces charges of child abuse. The pair fled the war in Ukraine, so it's not clear if they have any family in the area. Her son is with DCF for the time being. College basketball fans, your brackets, they may be busted, but 2 Florida teams, they will make history this weekend. The Florida Atlantic University Owls are making their first ever appearance in the Final Four tomorrow. Despite being this year's underdog, the team seemed pretty confident at yesterday's news conference. The 9-seed Owls, they will take on 5-seed San Diego State. Tip-off, it's at 6:09 p.m., and you can catch that game right here on Wink. And the Miami Hurricanes, they're also making their first ever appearance in the Final Four. The Hurricanes face 4-seed UConn tomorrow. The game starts at 8:49 p.m. You can catch it right here on Wink. So, Clay, he is a mixed martial artist, and you probably know him from his wrestling and grappling for right around 60 fights in the UFC. And you probably know how much he loves fishing. But what you may not know, he calls Cape Coral home. I spoke to him about how he's helping with Hurricane Ian recovery. When you step into a UFC octagon, you are in it to win it. You are here for the glory. But today, 19-year UFC veteran Clay Guida and the UFC, they're fighting for something more. They're fighting for Florida.
We're fighting for our community. We're fighting for Fort Myers Beach, Lee County, Cape Coral, where my family lives.
When Hurricane Ian slammed ashore with 150-mile-an-hour winds and 15 feet of storm surge, UFC fighter Clay Guida's first thought was,
are my parents okay? Are my friends okay?
They all survived, but 144 people in Florida did not. Their pain got to Clay.
And unfortunately, I lost my husband in this storm.
And I feel so terrible for these people that didn't make it.
or they don't have a home.
Clay was training for a fight when Hurricane Ian changed the landscape of Southwest Florida forever.
Safety first. Obviously, things can be repaired, houses, belongings.
Nearly $100 billion in damages and more than 5,000 homes destroyed in Lee County.
Once I heard my parents' voice, and I knew everything was going to be all right.
The built-to-last fighter, aptly nicknamed the Carpenter, immediately knew he had to do something. So he braced for the toughest fight of his life: how to help people rebuild their homes, their lives.
The UFC and Vayner Sports has really helped out and teamed up with the Girls and Throws of Guida and the Wrestling is Life Foundation to come up with this Fight for Florida.
So now Clay and UFC are raising money with these Clay Guida shirts. UFC is also pushing fans worldwide to donate what they can to the Red Cross.
The red, white, and blue, Fight for Florida. We had to have the state flag here marked, where Hurricane Ian ripped through.
Now you can buy a shirt and rock one of these, or you can donate directly. All that money goes to the families hit the hardest in Southwest Florida. Belinda Post, Wink News. Clay believes he's helped to raise $10,000. So how can you get your hands on a shirt, and where does your money go? So Clay says proceeds will go to the Calusa Sportsman Foundation to support hurricane-impacted first responder families. If you're interested, we do have a link on winknews.com where you can get one. You have until Super Bowl Sunday to buy it.
Wink News anchor Belinda Post was there for the finale of the journey.
Chris and Lois, it's probably the ultimate male bonding trip. Hitting the open road on two wheels, visiting MLB ballparks across the country. But for Ron Dixon, it's more than that. It's about teaching his 13-year-old grandson, Nick, how to become a man, especially when life throws you a curveball.
If you don't have family, you have nothing.
More than 20,000 miles. Chasing fly balls around the country.
From Dodger Stadium, they hit a home run ball.
Thousands of innings, home runs, and Cracker Jacks.
Kettle corn. We got a bag of those at some of them.
Broken down over 2 summers.
So every stadium, you can get a stamp.
Now, Ron and Nick are home. They filled the baseball passport book with stamps, checking off every MLB stadium, wearing matching t-shirts.
Riding around the country with your grandson, going to baseball games almost every night or every afternoon.
Also visiting the Baseball Hall of Fame and the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City, sometimes riding 12 hours a day on their month-long journey.
Seeing his face and how much he enjoyed it, you can't just come up with that. It's awesome.
Ron is a retired Marine who's been riding since the 70s. He plans a bike trip with each grandchild to teach them wisdom, discipline, and safety.
I will not let these boys ride without a helmet.
Along with integrity.
If you build it, they'll come.
That means doing what you say and putting family first, which he also taught Nick's mom.
Ever since I was a baby, I would ride with Dad on the motorcycle. I mean, I would literally fall asleep on the gas tank.
No matter what life throws, they'll be on this ride together.
Everybody says they've got the best parents, they've got the best kids, but I do.
And when I met the family, I could immediately feel how close they were and that house was built on love. Now, Nick's brothers, DJ, he was there too. He and Grandpa went on a similar trip a few years back. Nick says he will always remember that special time with his grandpa and checking off that last stadium. Over to you.
Wow, that is an amazing trip.